Hello, and welcome back to Juice with the News. Um, I don't know what episode we're on at this point
We're on like at least episode 10,
of the season, or just in general.
just in general.
Okay, I know that's just not right.
Okay.
I'm one of your hosts, Jack,
I'm your other host, Eli.
and this is Juice with the News. Okay, I'm gonna get right into this because we were
Okay.
having a discussion about this beforehand, and I want to see where this goes. So we were talking about art and just like our opinions about art and like how much we like art and that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
The classic conversation that all friends have, just like, do you like art? I like
exactly.
art. Yeah,
I am a strong opponent of art.
obviously. I think
Yeah.
I think most people are.
Yeah.
But I think what we differ on is opinions of like what we think is good art and what we think is bad art. And in specifics, how much we're willing to pay for art. When you go to like some art fair or whatever, there's a price tag stuck on a piece of art, and you're like, "Yo, how much is that one worth?" And they're like $250,000. Not actually, but like that would be a lot of
That'd
money.
be a
And
really
like,
cool art.
and then
Yeah.
I'd have to decide whether that art piece is actually worth that $250,000. But my question is, who decides the prices of like the art? Because art is subjective. Like that's why we have different opinions of what good art is. So how can you just slap a price label on art and be like, this one's worth that much?
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a completely contradictory statement that, you're told like art is subjective, express yourself, and then at the same time, like these pretentious art snobs that went to college are like, I know more than the rest of you people, so I know that this piece of art that is supposed to be subjective and like each person should interpret it and value it differently should have one value, and that value is in the form of monetary compensation, in the form of like however many dollars these people like say it is worth, right? What And it's not just like art snobs, it's like people who work for insurance companies. It's like it's sometimes the artists themselves, and so it kind of like negates the point of the subjectivity that is art in many instances.
Right. You go to an art fair and you're like looking to buy art, but you're also looking for something that you could like afford. But again, yeah, how can I say that I can't afford the Mona Lisa? Because what if I don't think the Mona Lisa is that good and I'm only willing to spend $20 on it?
Right. Or like, to put it even further, like how did the Mona Lisa become
I'm
this
famous.
invaluable piece of work, right? It's not because, right? It wasn't famous when it was painted, right? It wasn't declared this amazing piece of art. It became this, the epitome of, realism because years later, someone was like, wow, this is cool. And then even more years later, some people stole it. And so then it became famous for this whole other reason. And that's kind of what helped make it invaluable, which isn't necessarily the actual art itself, but it's kind of like the story behind it. And so that begs a whole new question, which is like how much of the value of art is based on the artwork itself, right?
And
Like,
not the actual story that went into
right,
it. Because I could be like, yo, let me get one of my art pieces from when I was like 3 years old. And I could tell this beautiful story of how, like, when I was three, and like just like a sob story to get everybody on my side. And it's just like a square that's colored in, and it's not even colored in within the lines. It's
right.
like, is that worth the story? Like, is that good art? No, but society can make it seem like it is because of reasons.
Exactly. And here's one more example. A few years ago, this artist sold two blank canvases for $100,000, and they were pieces of artwork. He said like it's to represent like the blankness of like art, like it was like some metaphor about like the blank sheet of like people's minds or something like that. And it ended up being like valued at like $100,000. And so the question is like, what makes something that's just like a blank canvas worth $100,000? Because it wasn't the canvas itself, because I could buy one at Target for $2. It's
Right.
the person who painted it, and it's the story or the intent behind why it was created, and that's not really subjective, right? Like those
So
two things aren't
basically,
subjective.
basically what we're saying is art isn't really art.
Yeah, it's just another form of, it's just another thing you can buy, like a hammer or a chair, and change my mind.
Yes, art is now a hammer or a chair.
Yeah, exactly.
So going off of like subjective beliefs of whether you think art is worth a certain amount of money, I think this is a good transition into what we're actually talking about today. It's just whether we believe in certain anomalies. For
Yeah.
example, do you believe that Bigfoot is out there?
Hands down, absolutely, I do. I think there are some important things that get overshadowed because people are like, oh, wow, this is Bigfoot, stupid, right? But there are some things you should know. One is that the FBI has had a file on Bigfoot for I think since 1970, which means that the FBI has been tracking Bigfoot sightings, right? So like, there's clearly like some validity to this, thing because the Federal Bureau of Investigation has put resources towards investigating it. Second thing you need to realize is that scientists estimate that I think over half of all of the species on Earth have yet to be discovered. Now, the counter argument to that is like most of them are probably bugs in the tropical forest in Africa, but also like why can't one out of like the more than half of animals we've yet to discover be a giant beast-like creature in Alaska, right? And I think the third thing you need to think about is that this is not like a new phenomenon, right? So think back to the giant squid. The giant squid for hundreds of years, right? For over 200 years was written about in books, in like fiction, in pieces of fiction, and, was told as this mythical creature, and no one believed in it. And then in 2006, what did scientists discover? The giant squid.
The giant
So,
squid.
so like maybe it's just a folk's tale, or maybe the folk's tale was created by an actual sighting of Bigfoot, and now we just haven't gotten a second chance at him, and so we will eventually. But I have hope. I have faith.
Well, so here's my thought, and I do like agree with the fact that like Bigfoot could just be an animal we haven't discovered out there yet, which is entirely possible. But that animal wouldn't be Bigfoot then. The whole point of Bigfoot is this that he's this hairy creature who's kind of like human-like, but also like really hairy, and he's like mysterious, and he like walks around in the woods and stuff. But like that animal, if it's ever discovered, isn't that.
Well, I think that's where we disagree, right? Because I think that absolutely that would be Bigfoot. I think that Bigfoot is what we have named what we
But it's
believe
only
this creature to
Bigfoot
be.
because it would only be Bigfoot because of what we've already established of this folklore. So, like for example, like the Loch Ness monster, that
Mhm.
exists. That's real.
The Loch Ness monster is real.
100%.
How is the Loch Ness monster right? Like, how is that logic not this? How is the logic
No,
not?
because hasn't it been spotted?
No, it's been
Yes,
like,
it has.
oh, it's been
Hold on.
spotted in the same way like Bigfoot has been spotted, right? Like, there's a picture of what people believe Bigfoot to be, right? There's a picture of what people believe the Loch Ness monster to be, right? But that monster is, the Bigfoot monster is usually discredited, and the same with the Loch Ness monster. Hold on.
No, but here's my thought: is it exists because there have been like photos taken of like a big fish in that area, but it's called the Loch Ness monster because of the folklore that we've already established.
Yeah, there's a
It's
like,
only the Loch Ness monster because we've already said it's the
but
Loch Ness
there are
monster.
pictures of the Bigfoot, right? People can disagree whether or not that's actually a big hairy animal,
I
right?
don't
But
think
like,
you could. I don't think it's determined that that is not human.
hold on, wait, I can't do that. But no, like I think like for the same reason that we can't just assume, or we can just assume that the Loch Ness monster isn't a scuba guy in a big fish-like costume, we can also agree.
That's just not feasible.
What do you mean that's not feasible? Tell me
Okay,
how.
come on. No, that's not going to be it, though.
What do you mean? Well, how can you say for sure what it can and can't be, right? Because we haven't discovered it yet, right? This is all about faith. This isn't like, oh, I know what it would be or what people think it's gonna
You
be. No,
really think
no
a
one knows what
you
it's gonna
really
be.
think a scuba diver is gonna go down there and in a big fish costume and not
Absolutely.
die
Yeah.
and do it for the culture?
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
But Bigfoot is real.
Bigfoot has the potential to be real because we've made it real.
No, I believe Bigfoot is real. I believe that
I think Bigfoot is a social construct.
I, I truly believe that there is a 7 foot tall hairy monster living in the north, like Alaska or Canada somewhere, and that one day people will discover it. And or the other possibility is that fracking in Alaska and northern Canada has caused the Bigfoot to go extinct, and so we'll never get the chance to meet them.
So now we're anti-fracking.
Yeah.
You've just made a political statement saying we're anti-fracking.
I'm not anti-fracking. I'm pro Bigfoot.
Because you're pro Bigfoot, you're anti-fracking.
I think they're two different things, right?
No, because you just said that fracking has probably caused harm to Bigfoot, so we'll never see it again.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're pro Bigfoot, that means you're anti-fracking.
Yeah, but I'm only anti-fracking because I'm pro Bigfoot. So as soon as
you're still anti-fracking though.
That's fair.
Okay, I also think that Bigfoot is kind of real. I mean, same with the Loch Ness monster. I think it is kind of real. I do think that it has been created to be real because we've said like if something ever comes in like this area that looks moderately like what we said, then it will be that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So like inevitably it will be true.
Yeah.
If it's ever found, but right now it's just a thought.
Yeah. Let's move on to probably a creature that I think it's more common for people to believe in, which are aliens. So
100%.
You believe in aliens, right?
100%.
I think that, it's difficult not to believe in aliens. Just right, like now that we've learned so much about the universe, I feel like it's impossible to not think that, like, oh yeah, there has to be life on at least one other planet, right?
Yeah, if you think that all the life in this universe happens to exist where we stand right now,
mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, you're just wrong. Like,
you're just wrong.
You have to be wrong.
Yeah.
Because there's no way that unless the only feasible reason why this is the only life in the whole entire universe is if God's real.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think the odds of God being real or aliens existing, I think the percentages go towards aliens existing.
Yeah.
So that's where I am at right now.
But so I think this begs kind of a follow-up question, which is what types of aliens do you think are out there, right? And which ones do you think? What types of aliens are you most curious to discover?
Okay, so I'll address the types of aliens out there first. There's infinite types. We exist in human forms, but there's like other creatures around, like on other planets and other galaxies or whatever. In a galaxy far, far away, Jedis might be real.
There's a Wookiee somewhere.
Yeah, there might be Bigfoot. Bigfoot could actually exist.
Yeah.
On another planet, and we just don't know it yet. I think there's infinite amount of possibilities of what other life forms exist.
I agree, but personally, the one that I'm most excited for is hyper intelligent hamster-like creatures. Like I want something that looks like so cute and adorable, but is like smarter than we'll ever know.
And then just like destroys you with his political moves.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Have you heard there's like this bug that scientists think has the ability to like attach itself onto other bugs and like control them?
Like a parasite?
Yeah, but like not a parasite, like a living creature. Like an animal.
Isn't a parasite a living creature?
Right, but it's not like an animal. It's like a yeah. This is like an animal that like can think and stuff.
Okay.
And so
are you saying insects can't think and stuff?
No, I'm saying insects can, parasites can't.
Can they not?
No, parasites can't think. Where's the brain in a parasite?
I don't know,
Somewhere. Jellyfish can't think either, which begs the question, are they truly an animal? But that's a different question. I personally think that if aliens exist, then jellyfish like came from another planet a long time ago and have just like kind of like been here ever since.
Hmm.
Um, but no, I think that it'd be really cool or interesting at least to see a hyper intelligent animal with kind of that ability of that like bug, right? Like I don't want to get taken over, but I think it'd be interesting to see a hyper intelligent species that has adapted that power.
Well, I have a question.
Yeah.
Haven't humans already done that? Because we kind of control animal species. I mean, you look what's happening with the animal industry and the meat industry, and we're raising them to be slaughtered. We've
Right.
outsmarted them in that way, and we've
Right.
like controlled their lifestyles now.
But like this is like comic book villain type shit, right? Like this is like something that
Are you saying that animals are treated humanely?
no, what we
Because
do is
that's super villain
no,
shit.
what we do is villainous, but what these bugs do are comic book villain, right? What I mean
Okay.
by that is like they do bad things, but it's so much more theatrical and it's like and you know, it's less catastrophic as like actual villainous actions like, you know, genocide and war and stuff. But no, I think it'd be so weird to see the ability of an actual living creature to like insert itself into you and then like just like control your arms and legs. Like that's just so creepy to me. And the fact that like there is potentially an animal or a creature or an alien out there that could do that, I think is weird.
What I want to see is a liquid, a liquid that is like is able to think
A look, yeah, and its
and
brains are just
communicate,
liquid.
and it's just a puddle.
It's just a puddle.
It's just a puddle.
So how does it die? Like if you step on it, does it go like ah?
No,
No. So like
I mean, this is a life form that could exist for eternities. It could have immortality.
that'd
Like
be kind of
we don't know specifically what it is. All we know is that it appears to be a liquid. It's able to communicate with other liquid forms that are the same species, and it's sentient, so it has a mind of its own,
yeah, that'd be cool.
and
And
it's
then
just
like
like it just like moves like so slowly. You
and
see
then
the
if
whole puddle just moving.
it could like infest Earth, and then like we would never know if
It's like
water
in
is
our
going to
sewers.
attack us or not. Like the water we drink, like all of a sudden could just like pop out and like, you know, like our and so then
And
we
just
just
drown you.
right, and so we'd be afraid of
Why
water.
why is it that you're very into aliens attacking humans?
Because that's the only way we're going to encounter aliens. We're not
I don't you can't say that for certain though.
I don't see a way in which an alien comes to Earth and is like, hey, you guys have been doing so well here, let's be friends, right? Like they're gonna be like, wow, you guys are terrible, we're going to destroy you, right? The only way that
It's the same thing about global politics, except for this is universal politics.
universal politics, right? But since like global politics, like we've kind of developed like a way to communicate with one another, we have no idea how to communicate with aliens. We have no
Yeah,
idea,
but if we do develop that way though, like
right? But
that's the whole premise of this argument is if like we ever are able to interact with aliens. I'm assuming if we're able to interact, there's some way we can communicate.
maybe. I just don't think that any alien that sees what we're doing from like outside of the, you know, like, you know, from the outside will look at us and be like, that's a planet that I want to be engaged with, right? That just seems a little far-fetched to me. More
But
far-fetched than Bigfoot.
what if they're not the ones coming here, we're the ones going there?
If we go there, I think that's a possibility. Although then again, like that, I'd still be afraid that they'd attack us because if they're as intelligent or more intelligent and we go to them, that's like an invasion, right? Like that is us introducing ourselves to them unannounced. And so I think if we're not careful, which if this is the first alien group we encounter, there's probably going to be a lot of unspoken rules that we'll break. I think that could lead to a lot of, you know, attacks happening as well. Like, I don't see a way that us interacting with aliens ends peacefully.
Do you think aliens will be the end of human race?
No, I think that robots will, or global warming.
Which, in what order do you think everything's going to happen in?
Global warming, robots, nuclear war, aliens.
Interesting.
What about you?
Nuclear war. Okay, I'm global warming 1, aliens 2, robots 3, nuclear war 4.
Okay. Yeah. Robots are definitely going to take over the world. If not like in the
They might
conventional
not
robot.
just enslave the human race. They won't
Yeah.
like.
Well, I also mean like by robots, I also mean like technology as a whole.
Yeah, I
Like
know.
so. Yeah. Okay. Good. All right. So let's move on to our final kind of paranormal being, ghosts. So
Do you believe in ghosts?
I don't believe in ghosts.
Why not?
I don't think that there is any scientific explanation for a ghost.
As of right now, there's no scientific explanation for Bigfoot or the aliens either.
No, I think there's definitely
Actually, there is kind of
yeah,
scientific
you can explain
explanation for both the
Bigfoot
stuff.
and aliens with science, but
Yeah,
like
you're right.
it's just like we can't confirm it, right? I don't think there's any way yet, at least, to explain ghosts with science. What about you? Do you
What about
believe in
Ghostbusters?
Ghostbusters is amazing. I love Ghostbusters. If ghosts do exist, I would want to be a Ghostbuster.
I think ghosts do exist. They have to.
Yeah.
I've seen too much to I've seen too much for it to not be ghosts.
What ghosts have you seen?
Well, so if some dedicated viewers might know that there is a ghost living in my basement.
Right.
At home. His name is Steve. I've named him Steve. He flickers the light on and off, and he doesn't like being on cameras. He's camera shy.
Yeah, a little bit.
But he does exist. But that's the only explanation for what the hell is happening to that light.
You think that's
it's the only explanation.
well, let me ask you this, right? So, do you believe that ghosts are like people that have died and have come back in like this like half sentient, like half life form? Because like that begs the question.
I think what I think ghosts could as well be aliens. They could just be aliens.
They could just be weird aliens. I
just think that the existence of ghosts is real. It could be some spirit from an afterlife. It could be somebody trying to haunt me for some wrongdoings I have done, because we all know I've done some wrongdoing.
Yeah.
That warrant ghosts to flicker lights on and off while I'm trying to record a podcast.
So,
but it could also very well be aliens or Bigfoot. Like ghosts could be Bigfoot. You don't know.
Ghosts could be Bigfoot confirmed. No, I think that
I meant to talk. Wait, really quickly before we go back onto the ghosts. I meant to say this in the Bigfoot segment. Have you seen the theory that the reason why Bigfoot hasn't actually been seen is because he's so thin?
No, he just
so you know Flat Stanley?
Yeah.
So like you see one side, but if he turns around, he's so thin that you can't see him looking at that.
That's so. I don't even know where to begin on. That's
Bigfoot.
It's Bigfoot. Okay, so back to ghosts. I think that like something that I've always wondered is because most people think that ghosts are like something from like beyond the realm of death, right? Like people who have died and come back to like haunt or to like. And so I think that begs the question, like, who would want to do that, right? So, like, if we know that there's something...
not. I don't think if that is the case, it wouldn't be a want. It would be they have to.
Why would they have to?
Because they're trapped.
Because they're trapped.
They're trapped in the spirit world, and it's their only form of entertainment.
Yeah, so you think that there's just nothing after death unless you want to be a ghost?
I think you get a choice. If ghosts are real, I think when you die, you get a choice in the afterlife. Do you want to go to heaven and just witness things, or do you want to be the cause of some things? And people are going to be like, yeah, I want to cause some stuff. And then they go be ghosts.
Do people who become ghosts ever have the option to go back to heaven?
No, it's a one choice. You got to make the decision. You have 5 seconds to do it quickly.
5
Make the
seconds.
decision.
Wow. So wait, time is also a construct in heaven?
Of course.
Interesting.
I don't know any of this. All I know is
No,
that
of
some
course
form
not.
of spirit animals or aliens or paranormal activity does exist.
Sure. I'll get behind that. I mean,
I've
I
seen
believe
stuff
that.
at the camp I went to. I've also seen stuff, and it's very scary. And that place is definitely haunted.
That place
So
is haunted.
yeah,
You know
for
where
sure.
else is haunted?
Where?
The White House. Oh, what a political burn.
Yo, okay, we need to dissect that real quick. So the White House is haunted because why? Why is the White House haunted?
Because strange things keep happening, unexplained things.
Like what?
Like a game show host is living in the place where the president normally sleeps, even though the majority of people did not vote for this man. That's one
Okay,
thing.
but that's just electoral college.
Okay,
That doesn't
fine.
mean stuff is haunted.
Fine. Number 2, this man.
Steve Bannon.
Yes.
Number 2. All right, number 3.
Number 3, this man has has been present at every single important aspect of the White House's like actions since he started sleeping there. Like he has been in every single photograph taken of the White House, just like any other ghost would.
So you're saying Trump is a ghost?
Yeah,
Like an actual ghost, or just like or just like doing ghost-like stuff?
that's a good question.
Like, is he haunting America, or is he actually like an actual spirit?
Maybe.
Like, do you think Trump doesn't exist? Wait, you haven't shaken hands with Trump, but if you tried to, would you just like phase through it because he's a ghost?
Yeah, and that's why he survived Corona, because you can't get a disease if you're a ghost.
No, he survived Corona because he had the best doctors
Oh,
available
right.
24/7 with the best healthcare paid for by the taxpayers.
Yeah, exactly.
So there you have it.
There you have it.
I think that about does it for this episode.
Yeah.
That was a very weird one. I'm
That was
not gonna lie.
Yeah. We might have to do some editing.
No editing.
No?
Straight through. That was
Okay.
funny. We had
All
some
right.
good points and some good arguments. I enjoyed that episode.
Sounds good.
So
Yeah.
I guess like, comment, subscribe, smash that notification bell button so you get notified every time we upload.
Follow us on Instagram. You can email us
At what is it? At
Jews with the News podcast or Jews with the News podcast at gmail.com.
Yes.
We're everywhere.
We are indeed
Except on
everywhere.
TikTok. We're not on TikTok.
Oh, we need to start TikTok.
We're not on TikTok.
No, but we should start a TikTok.
What could we do on a TikTok?
We just upload clips of our podcast. All right, TikTok incoming. If you want to be in charge of our TikTok, DM us on Instagram or email us.
Exactly.
Thank you for listening, and this has been Jews with the News.
Have a good one.